Yes, indeed. Back with another episode of the discussion.
Yes, sir.
I am your main man, the bad guy, CJ Dub.
And everybody knows I'm the good guy, E-Dell.
And I'm actually known as Captain Caveman these days.
you definitely are, man. Everybody love referring to you as that. Did you name yourself that? I mean,
yes, I did. I felt like it was fitting on the, some of the stances I was taking, just for a little, little for entertainment purposes.
Okay.
To get on the women nerves.
So now you got an alter ego now.
Yes, Captain Caveman.
Is that why you have the glasses on with the tint on them? I mean,
actually, these are my future love doctor glasses.
Well, I must say, it's not a pretty sight. You thought I was gonna?
Well, I don't want it to be a pretty sight.
You know what, man? Here we go. See, look, this is why I can't beat you, because everything I say against you, you're gonna try to say, okay, well, I know that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like when you're comfortable in your own skin, man.
I guess you're right.
The thoughts of others really don't bother. I mean, that's just me. Like,
Right.
I know somebody who does like it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what's important.
Hey, listen,
that's all that's important.
That's what the women would say to you. So I say that back in return. I know somebody who does like it.
Well, okay. Well, that's great, brother man from the other man. But look, today I gotta have a classic.
Yo, shout out to Meek Wills.
Yo, what up, baby?
Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, checking out another episode and rocking with us again today.
Yes, sir. All the violence, I mean, just get your perspective of where you think all the violence is like coming from. Like, why is it just like now it's just broadcasting and it's like more and more?
Well, and this is just a theory of mine. The way I view things, there became, and I guess you would say the beginning of this started with NWA. Now, you can count off a few others that came before NWA.
Right.
You can look at Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded, Ice-T's, Power, Schoolie D, PSK, What Does It Mean? And there were what you would consider gangster albums before NWA, but let's just start at NWA and say they are the ones who took it global.
Right. I think theirs was gangster and everything else was hardcore.
So, this is just my theory.
Mm-hmm.
They created this genre in hip hop called gangster rap. Mm-hmm. At the time when this was going on, as somebody who loves hip hop the way that I do, I can honestly sit here and say that hip hop affected my thoughts. It affected my actions. I can't even tell you how many times I got gems, whether good, positive and negative, from music. But I guess in a sense, it's really no difference between music and movies. It's all entertainment. But I think, for some reason, people started to put more value into the music because it seemed more realistic and things that you can relate to. Mm-hmm. So, let's fast forward 15 to 20 years. Now, for the first, let's just say 20 years in hip-hop, you probably could count the deaths on probably one hand, or maybe two. But you wasn't going beyond two. From hip-hop's inception to, let's just say, the year 2000. So let's just say the first 20 years of hip-hop, you didn't really see a whole lot of death. Now, the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls kind of rocked the music. And I think after their deaths, I think people begin to, pump the brakes just a little bit. And they started to take hip-hop a little bit more serious. Like, okay, this is becoming more than just words.
Right, exactly. I think their deaths actually just it sparks something in the media, it sparks something in the politics and everything. But I just think, me personally, I think now it's worse and it broadcasted more because of these kids, the gangs. People want to be seen, and now social media has taken a part. So now everybody has a group, a sector, and a clique. So look, I see these guys on this corner showing off their guns on Instagram, or what they have, their drugs on Instagram. I got to do bigger and better now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what these people are doing, these groups. And then here goes the word, here goes the words, here goes the music. Then it comes out, and somehow it just always just blows up into something else. It turns into something that it shouldn't be.
Okay, so I'm looking at the list right now.
Right.
From hip hop's inception to the year 2000, and actually some of these names I'm not even familiar with. Like this dude Bugs, wasn't he a part of D12, or was he the one that was a part, like, from Detroit, like dealing with Eminem and them?
What's his name?
Bugs.
I don't know.
But you had the Freaky Ty. Well, the first one that I really remember was Scott LaRock, and that was in 1987. Okay. I remember Paul C, the producer, rest in peace. I remember when he got killed in 1989. This guy, D-Boy Rodriguez, I'm not really familiar with him, but he was a Texas rapper. And he died in 1990. Charisma, I'm not familiar with him. Big Stretch. This Stretch is the person name I was trying to remember on the last episode that was Tupac homie.
Yeah.
And was also on the Dolly My Baby.
Big Stretch. Nice. Sight. You know what I mean? He shot him out too.
Yeah, Big Stretch.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to Stretch. And Seagram, I do remember Seagram getting killed. Tupac Shakur and Biggie. Then you got Gaddafi from Outlaws.
Right.
All of these guys, Fat Pat, Big L, Freak the Tie, and Bugs.
Right.
Those are the only guys that were killed in the first
20 years.
Little over 20 years in hip hop.
And how many was in the last one?
Now, once you get to the year 2000, this number jumps dramatically, and there's so many names. Oh man,
that is crazy.
That it's too many.
Yeah, there's too many names
to call off. So
how does that make you feel seeing that? I mean, seeing that, like, because this is listen, like I said, I just believe that it is a span from the crack era. It's a span from the gang members just posting up. And then when you take a look at that with people without a lot of hope, and they're defending what they have, like, look, I'm not losing what I have. You know what I'm saying? And then along with what you said, some of what you said, you know, as well. I mean.
And then I'm looking at the ages.
They're very young.
Especially over the last 20 years. A lot of these dudes are very young.
Man.
So you're talking about an evolution. And to me, it started with the introduction of the gangster rap genre. And young kids, you see what's missing is the big homie is missing. You know, when you got kids out here without proper guidance.
Right.
Without somebody showing them, you know, the proper way to move in this, not only in this industry, but as a man.
Right.
So you seeing a dramatic increase. And what brought forth this topic of the day, the rapper from Cali.
Chuck Trill?
No, he was from
Texas. He's from Houston, Texas.
Well, we can talk about him for a second,
okay,
because his is recent as well.
Yeah, he got killed in the All-Star game on I-85, during the All-Star game on I-85.
Wow.
And the shootout, actually, listen, as a matter of fact, that weekend, it was a violent shooting spree. I think about 5 people may have been killed or something. I know it was 7 shootings. And I think maybe, don't quote me, I think it was maybe 5 when I was listening to the video, to the news on it today. So, I mean, look, we talking about, why does this mix, like Chuck Trill, I don't know much about him, but all I know is, look, we're talking about an era of hip hop that needs to be saved. We're talking about an era of hip hop where these kids need to know, look, they are boundaries. I mean, y'all killing each other off. I mean, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Those shootings and that...
And the level of disrespect as well. There is a heightened sense of, you know, I don't even know the proper word for it. It's these kids feel like they really have something to prove, and it's a mixture of trolling also with, I mean, some of the stuff is just the ultimate disrespect. I can't remember which rapper it was. King Von.
King Von, the one that just...
After King Von's death,
right,
somebody, another rival rapper, gang member,
NBA YoungBoy and his crew.
I mean, they even went as far
What is the kid name?
as to video themselves pissing on somebody's grave.
Man, that is terrible, man.
So you have to start looking at like these children, babies, and their value system, and their morals and their principles. This is bigger than hip hop, really, when you really sit here and think about it.
Right.
And that level of disrespect that's going on.
And that shows you that, look, these kids and these hip hop artists, these rappers nowadays, they just have no remorse. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't care. I'm gonna outdo you, so the next person, he may want to go and defecate on the man's grave.
Yeah, it's like let's play a game of let me see if I can be more disrespectful than you. And you know, it's sad to see, you know, because at the end of the day, this is somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's son, or whatever. That's just like me, man. And there are people in this world who I don't like. I try to love everybody. But once somebody is dead, you know, I see no need into continuing to have a problem with this person.
And look, you mean to tell me if you got that type of problem with a person and then you go and do that, you're expecting something in return. You're expecting people to retaliate against you because look, I don't know, like, I mean, that's cold.
Yeah, like how far they're taking some of this stuff.
That's cold.
Kids. And like I said, I have my own theory on, you know, it's kind of like the evolution of gangster rap and the evolution of social media. It's like a sense of trolling. How disrespectful can I be? Kids feeling the need to prove something. Right. That really doesn't, like, if somebody's dead, like, what is the point in pissing on their grave other than you're trying to get attention? Man, that's the only conclusion I can draw from it, because I don't really believe you can hate somebody that much. Like, to hate somebody even in death. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo, I didn't like you while you was alive. You're dead now. You're not a problem for me anymore. So there's no need for me to continue to have an issue with you. Right. You're not here anymore.
Right.
So even in death, it's like, what is it? You want his whole family to suffer? You know what I mean? A mother who just lost a child, now I got to read a news report about somebody pissing on her son's grave.
Oh, man, that is... Listen, if I was the parent of that child or that kid, the sibling... Look, man, I don't know. I don't know what would propel someone to do that, man. I'm upset about it. It's just, I don't feel bad. I feel good about that trend or hip hop going like that. And if there are people out there that are condoning this, which is wrong, somebody need to step up and say, hey, man, look, I don't know what's up with you. I don't even know why you would feel. Why is life that bad? Or has someone wronged you that much for you to actually go and pee on their grave? I mean, look, you know what that's saying? That's like saying the ultimate disrespect. Like, you did something to me that can't be taken away. I mean, you did something to me that was so bad that I tell you what, even after you die, when you die, I'm going to return to your grave just to pee on it. And you know, you always had heard that back in the days. I piss on your grave.
Right. But, I mean, it's nothing that, you know, I think that has a lot to do with your moral code.
Right, exactly.
I could never hate anybody that much. And it really doesn't, well, I'm not going to say that. But I have yet to have those types of feelings, and I can't imagine having those types of feelings.
Right.
Because I do understand. Like, it doesn't matter that I have an issue with you. You know what I mean? Whatever our issue is our issue.
Right.
I don't have an issue with your mother unless she did something to me.
Right.
To your children.
Right.
Unless they did something
right.
to me. Even your boy King Von. I mean, you have to look at this thing all the way around. His homies were actually robbing him after he got killed.
That's crazy.
They went back to his mansion and were taking things. Taking money and different items.
See, that's...
right after he got killed.
And these are not your friends. Like, we always... Look, that's why I don't hang with people. I don't trust people. You know what I'm saying? I just don't... I don't trust people. I mean, it's just things like that show you, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard because, you know, you want to say, look, man, I can give this person the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, as an adult now, I got to kind of choose who I be with. You know what I'm saying? I got to choose. I'm not trying to fit in a crowd. And that's the problem. Everybody's trying to fit in with something. They want to be identified as something. And that's not always good.
And a lot of these dudes, and we're only naming the ones that made headlines.
Yeah, just so
all the ones that did. Like, I'm sitting here looking at this list of all these guys that got killed.
Right.
From Pop Smoke to King Von to even some of the older ones, your Big L's and your Freaky Taz and stuff like that. So how do we come up with a solution for this? Or is it not a solution?
I think that we got a lot of work to do in our communities, ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes we ask for outside help, but I don't know the remedy. So let me just say, I'm not a professional. I don't know the remedy. I'm just saying that I think there are some things that we could do to start. You know what I'm saying? I think that, look, in these communities, we got to figure out how to way to get these guns out of our communities. Because, look, I'm seeing these guns. I've never even seen these type of guns before. I mean, I've seen guns before, you know what I mean? But, like, all over social media, who posts their gun? What hustlers? What rap? I mean, look, this has gotten out of control to the point where I might be your rival, a rival gang. Like all these things, we got to find out how to get these guns out of the community because, for one, black people don't own guns. I've never walked to a corner or around the path and met a black man selling me some guns unless they was dirty. But brand new guns like this, where are they coming from? These guns are coming from somewhere, and I think that we need to start there first. We need to start there. Let's figure out how to remove these guns from these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Because, look, you need to be able to be safe to walk down the street. I understand we always say, well, you can protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But, look, come on now. I mean, some of this stuff, you're going outside waiting for something to happen if you got 3 guns on you and 20 other people with 20 guns. I mean, you're waiting for something to happen. You're looking for something to do. So the next group of kids may be looking for something to do as well.
So, okay. So,
and let me say this before you go on. My son was my son's a hip hop artist. He raps, and he was introduced to gun violence a few months ago. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm so heavy on that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that. Look, I'm not saying that our children are angels, but that's my child. You know what I'm saying? That's my son, and he went through that, and it's hard for me to deal with as a dad. You know what I'm saying? So I still don't know how to deal with it. So this is my first time speaking about it, really. So I just don't, you know what I'm saying? So gun violence is serious. We got to figure out how to get these guns out the community. That's the first step.
So, because to me, a lot of it appears to be stemming from clout chasing.
That, yep.
As well as kids not being taught how to be men.
Right.
There was a time where if I really had an issue with you, I could just, like take the My Song Whack 100 situation that's going on right now. Both of those brothers basically said the same thing. They're having a disagreement about something, and they both were like, yo, let me get that 5 minutes. and you know what that means. You know what I mean?
Let's fade.
We gonna go. We gonna bang it out, and then if we don't come to the conclusion, we may have to do it again. But at the end of the day, nobody's getting killed, and you're behaving like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These kids today, a lot of them don't have that perspective. It's almost like
the embarrassment of getting beat up.
The embarrassment of losing. Or even on social media for like why I don't see any reason for you to brandish a gun on social media other than just attention seeking.
That's it.
And once you show it, if you like me, I was always taught if you pull that thing out, you gotta use it.
That's just how that goes. If you brandish a firearm, you have to use it. You cannot be playing with it. Listen, these things are serious. They're dangerous. There are people out there that will harm you, that will use their firearm on you. Man.
Out in the comments, how do y'all feel about this situation? Is it a lost cause and it hasn't just become a part of hip hop culture? Or are there steps and things that we can do as a community to put an end, well, maybe not put an end to it, but definitely slow up some of these senseless deaths
Let me ask you a question. Right. This is just a hypothetical. If you were, let's just say if you was the mayor of a town and you was to try to mitigate some of these things and try to minimize some of these things, like what would be some of the things that you would do? Like if you was in a position right now to say, look, I'm in a position to control some things around my community, what would be some of the first steps you take?
Well, for me, I always look at things. My focus would be the babies. You know what I mean? I think by the time a teen is a teen, especially mid-teen, 15, 16, 17 years old, I think that if they are at that age and they are troubled or troublesome, they're going to have to go through what they're going through and learn life lessons. So my focus, if it was up to me, I would focus on the babies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Catch them before it gets too out of hand. And when it comes, like, there was a saying about that. You know what I mean? It's hard to educate men. It's harder to educate men than it is to educate children.
It is, because we feel like we're at a point we know it. You know what I'm saying?
So my focus would be on, teaching critical thinking.
That would be a good
for the kids.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Focus on the kids, and then too, you just like I listened to Charleston White. That brother be talking some real stuff, man. I really like a lot of the things that he talks about. And one of the things that he mentioned was, he was locked up as a juvenile, and he was in there with the biggest, baddest brothers in the entire state, like people who even had killed their own parents or whatever.
Right.
But one thing that he said, even though these dudes did all these horrible things, they were still kids. They still wanted birthday presents. Mm-hmm. They still wanted Christmas presents. Right. They still cried when they didn't get visits.
Right.
So even though they did all of these horrible things, at heart, they still children.
And that's what we have to remember. See, we're forgetting that, right? And then you have another side of America that looks at them as if they're barbaric. You know what I'm saying? And that is where lines should be drawn. I mean, because they're still kids. And look, this is my belief, and I think you and I have had these discussions. Look, had nobody loved me the way they loved me, or been there for me the way they was there for me, and never gave up on me, I don't know if I'd be sitting here with you talking. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I just feel like, look, we're giving up on the kids, and these teenagers, the kids are critical, and I think that your plan, if that were you and you was in that situation, that would be the first step too. Anybody should look at that as their first step.
I mean, but
I would target those teenagers.
My target would be the children, and I think because I was one of those kids that was on the sideline, even though I thought certain things were childish and beneath me.
Right.
As a 15, 16-year-old.
Right.
But I still took admiration in watching, you know, Salvation Army bus coming through, picking up the kids, and you know, different activities. When you see a group of, you know, back in the days we had the Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that, YMCA, whatever. When you would see that stuff, even though, you know, you try and be a tough guy,
right?
You know, but like I said, you still got that heart of a kid.
Yeah. And
sometimes those actions get shown. Like you might go over there, start throwing the football to the kid, because it takes you back to a better time in your life.
Right.
Because we rush to be grown. Right. But once you in that setting, you like, yo, this ain't all that is.
But I think that most kids, look, let me just say this. I'm not really just speaking just in general, but I'm just speaking for like in our community. So a lot of kids don't even rush to be grown. Sometimes, well, they do. I'm not going to say they don't. I'm not going to make an excuse for that. You're right. But some of these kids, they just are forced to be grown or forced to do things.
Absolutely.
Because look, while I was away, my daughter had to take care of, you know, my two boys, my two sons. And she was just a minor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, look, these things, sometimes you just have those circumstances where you just have to be able to push through and find a way to fight through it. So my thing is this, look, I tell people to gird up your loins, man. You know what I mean? Start looking to the man in the heels. You know what I'm saying? Start saying today, look, I used to write myself notes and put them on the mirror. When I would brush my teeth in the morning and I wash my face, I had to tell myself I'm going to be great today. Because if I don't do that, look, this is new for me. And being employed like this, having the type of job that I have, it's great. But I have to always remember to remind myself that I can do better.
Absolutely.
Every day, I have to tell myself, I can do better. Because guess what? No one is going to love me or look out for me or do for me what I want to do for me.
And shout out to Uncle Chappelle. Going to the comment section. And like I said, if anybody got a comment or got an opinion they want to weigh in on.
What are you talking about?
Please feel free to do so. But Uncle Chappelle says, it starts at home with the parent. We have to raise the kids better. And that's absolutely correct. A lot of this stuff does start at home. And once again, when we started this show and I was telling you about my theory on why I think that's happening, it's mainly due to
mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration.
Hold on, let me say this. You are a POW. You are a prisoner of war, the crack war.
Absolutely.
You are a prisoner of the crack war, and this is the residual effect of that. This right here, what we're talking about right here on this show, and the things that we're trying to talk about to change, that's the residual effect.
And that's one of the reasons why I feel the way I do about this music.
We have hip hop.
Because even though, you know, you can have a difference of opinion on what different styles of music you like and stuff like that. But I have always had the understanding that corporate America, once they took over and got their hands in hip hop, they promoted the most negative images and the most negative parts of hip hop and exploited it.
Right.
So while you know some people may choose to overlook that too is a major part, because once they put the conscious label out there for artists,
right,
it took away from the messages that hip hop was given early on.
But what hasn't anything that black people done been infiltrated and try to be separated? Because look, once you listen,
that's an easy answer. Nothing.
Because anytime black people come together and try to do something, even if it's harmony, even if we're trying to harmonize. Now listen to what I'm saying. Even if we're trying to harmonize, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna try to conquer and divide us. And the only way to conquer us is if they do divide us. And we're letting them do that. We can't let the media, we can't let corporate America, no matter what they feel about black people. We're here because we didn't choose to be here.
Because you look at it like, you got in 1989, and that's easy to remember because Chuck D said it.
Right.
Right then. 1989 is the number, another summer.
Sounds of the funky drummer. Music hitting your heart because you know it got soul.
Right. Exactly. And that makes my point. In 1989, Fight the Power was the #1 record in America.
I love that song, man. I love that song.
And if you fast forward from 1989, that would be what? 31 years or something like that?
32, 33 years, yeah, somewhere around there.
A song like Fight the Power could not even find its way anywhere close to mainstream radio. We have to learn how to communicate with our youth. It's easy for any older person to sit down and tell a young man that he needs to vote or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But for some reason, when you're young, that language doesn't resonate.
Because we don't teach it.
Chuck D was saying a lot of the same things
he was.
that my mother was saying.
He was.
But I'd rather hear from Chuck D in the way he was saying it over some dope beats. And it made more sense to me than the way my mother was saying it.
You should have told my mother to play a record. She said.
Well, you know my mother was a gospel singer. I guess she could have sung it.
She could have played Fred Hammond and rapped over that.
Right. So in some situation, depending on the type of kids that you're trying to reach.
Right. I get it.
You gotta learn how to speak their language.
Right. That's true. And
I think you would get better results because I don't think anybody likes to be preached to all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? If your message is coming off like you preaching to me, I might tune you out. Right. I might listen to you, but I'm not hearing you.
Most people don't hear nothing but a voice of authority, right? Because if my voice and I talk like I'm one with authority, people will probably listen. Right. They probably, because if I speak that way, then they probably know that I've probably been through something. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, he's passionate. I can feel it. I see him. I hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because look, man, this violence thing and hip hop and in our communities and how it's growing. Like you even showed all those names after the first 20, 21 years in hip hop. Absolutely. It's too many. And they're all young. It's too many young folks dying. We won't have anybody left. Listen, we're going to be extinct if we keep on listening to the media. We're going to be extinct in our communities. We won't even have hip hop. They're trying to kill it off slowly but surely. So y'all got to maintain out there. Y'all hip hop artists out there, man. All the hip hop artists out there, y'all got to maintain.
So whatever's going on, we need to find a solution to this thing. And if not find a solution, start coming up with ideas and different things where we can actually start to make a difference and see this number go down.
Right.
So, with that being said, I want to shout out to everybody who came in and tuned in with us today. Like I said, this is a kind of a somber show, but at the same time, we talked about things that need to be addressed, and hopefully moving forward, maybe the show sparks something in somebody who's going to really make a difference one day.
Right, and look, man, before we go, just a message of encouragement, man. Look, you can control what you do. No one can control you or your mind or take it from you. What you learn, get educated. Do you, but make sure you look out for the people around you that help you do you.
So tell the people where they can find us at, man.
Hey, look, man, y'all already know, man. C_and_E_discussion on Facebook. You can find us there, YouTube, everywhere, because we're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere that you are. So your favorite streaming device or whatever you use, hey, look, just go, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the notification, download. Show us some love, baby. We here, the discussion.
Every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m., we will be
right here.
Kind of on time.
Kind of on time.
Like I said, I always say, we glad we be late a little bit, but we going to show up, though.
Right.
At 6 p.m.-ish.
6 p.m.-ish.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We'll be live out here. So, once again, salute everybody who chimed in. Share the video. Make sure you hit that bell so you get your notifications every single time we drop a new video.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, look, we'll get with y'all. We love you. The discussion with C&E, man.